right, everyone. The results are in. We've played 3 rounds, a lot of hard-fought battles, and I'll go through third rounds, but I'll just go ahead and give the tournament final results for 3 games. We have 2 first places, 1 second place, and 4 third places. So. First place goes to Solomon. Solomon bringing his Blight Disciples. This is a custom list, very solid list. We're going to look at it. Then we give the other first place is going to go to Adrian Schultz. As we've said in round 2, he got a chance to play both of his games, so he turned that temporary loss into a win. And then he won his last one, so actually he goes up to first place as well. So we had 2 3-0 players. I know we were possibly going to try and get the winners to play. I know they're going to try to play in the future, so I would love to see who's the quote ultimate winner between these two. Still, second place goes to Gary Vienna. So that tie really came into play. Shows you the power of a tie. Gary was able to tie with his other Alien Hives lists. So we've got 2 Alien Hives lists that are in first and second. Then we go to the third places. 2 and 1 is very respectable in the tournament. We've got Thomas Creek with a really nice Lust Demons list. Jason West with War Demons. We then have our third Alien Hives player, Leonardo. He got third place. And then Ryan is coming up with Human Defense Force, the custom list going for 2 and 1 as well. I think as well, the one thing Joshua didn't get a chance to, I don't think he got a chance to play. So he could very well be, if he wins, and I'd love for them to play in the future. If Joshua can win, this will technically maybe post-tournament put him in right up there with Gary as well. So I think as well, we've got, then we have, now I know Jesse, I think Jesse had to drop during the tournament. But he went I think 1 and 1. So some of these players don't have 3 games because they had to drop. Warboss with his Orcs went 1 and 2. That's not, and 1 and 2 isn't bad. You face one bad matchup. Alex coming 1 and 2. Stefanos 1 and 2. Rio, Daniel, Stephen, Walter, and then we had a couple people go 0 and 3, but a couple of them did drop as well. So I know a couple of he had some, and that's just life. The tournament is, not prioritized. So between work and I know some people got sick, it just happens. I want to say I really appreciate everyone playing. I appreciate all the subs. If you were a sub or you're an alternate and you got a chance to play someone that, and this happened several times where opponents couldn't play each other, so they got an alternate. And so some of these wins kind of reflect that, but I love that players really tried to get their alternate games in to sort of earn that win, as I say. So again, really appreciate that. All right, so with that in mind, let's go look at how the round 3s shook up here. So round 1, this was, I think it was I predicted that, I did predict that Solomon was going to win this. This Blight Disciples list, and actually I played this list, is really good. And I've actually I played this list separately. I actually have a video or 2 where I actually play with this list, and it's really good. I think that I played against Solomon. He's a good player. And good player, good list. I think that I saw that. Now, Thomas is also a really good player, and round 1 I underestimated Thomas, but I think by round 2, this list is really good. I think it just had a lot of problems against Solomon's list. Solomon's list is just very tanky. The other thing as well, he's got these, and as I predicted, these 3 units of Blight Zombies where they're corrosive. Just probably did, from what I understood, they just did work against, because, Thomas's list is really good, but, one of the things that I've noticed in the tournament is that you tended to have lists that were a little more kind of, had a balance of shooting, spells, and hand-to-hand, did a little better. So if you look at, Solomon's list, he's got some hand-to-hand, he's got some chaff, and he's got some shooting. So he's got, a little bit of everything in this list. And I think that's probably where That's probably where the Reap as well on this list. It's a really good list between the Putrid and Unwavering. Now, I think that all that probably that pluses, like Solomon's list does very well against high AP as well. I know because I brought some high AP and he was still able to tank even some AP3s and AP4s. But yeah, I just think that with Thomas, and this is, I think demons don't have a lot of shooting. I would love to see demons get tweaked to give them some more shooting options. But I do think this is sort of a problem that happens with lists that run like all hand to hand. They do really good in some matchups, but also when you face something like a corrosive or just some stuff that can shoot you and tank that hand to hand. Yeah. But really good. Solomon's list is definitely one of the best in the tournament. I'd love to see him play the other winner as well. So that would be great. Hopefully those two will get a chance to play in the future. Gary Vienna. So then the match 2 was Gary Vienna against Joshua West. So this is another really good matchup here. And I would say this. Gary took, I think he took 3rd place. I'm gonna just make sure on that as I'm talking. Gary took second. Well, he took 2nd place. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that these lists are just, I think not only is this list a high skill cap list, it's also just very, he's a really good player too. So this is Gary's list. You see here, this list has some shooting in it. It's got some chaff in it, and it's got some hand-to-hand. So it's got a little bit of everything. And I think I can see why Gary's list did better in this tournament, because it's a lot like Solomon's list. It's sort of a combined arms list. Yes, he's got a hand-to-hand, but he's got some shooting, and he's got some chaff. He's got like a little bit of everything. And I can see how this list, I think this invasion spore as well, probably did him very good. And, Jason's list, I know Jason as well, he got like 3rd place, I believe. Jason didn't do bad. Jason's got 3rd place, correct? Yeah. But you can see Jason, that's the thing, is when you face some of these lists that are like all hand to hand, you can sometimes, what's the word? You can sometimes face some bad matchups. So I think that's probably what happened with Jason. He went up against a list that just was sort of a bad matchup for him, that had the chaff to sort of deal with a lot of his big guys. And this was progressive scoring as well. So I think Gary's list probably did very well, that he had so much maneuverability that I think that's... so Jason's list is good, but it is sort of it's a list that's going to have both really good and really bad matchups. So I think that's another thing to keep in mind for these tournaments. You got to look at lists that can do a little bit of everything, because if you kind of go one way, you're going to steamroll some opponents, but against another opponents who kind of have the counter, then it's not going to do as well. But still, I think both of these guys placed in the tournament. So both, congratulations. I like both of the lists. Really like Gary's list. I think it's very unique, and it's a very high skill cap list. So I can respect him for bringing that in. We didn't get a chance to see. So if we go back to the placing, we didn't get a chance to see Joshua, and I think Jesse had to drop, and just wasn't able to get this game in. But I think that Joshua's list, we're going to look at it real fast. I still think this would be a really good game. And I'm hoping that Jesse and Joshua will get a chance to play in the future, because I'm very interested in this game. I like Joshua's list. I think that he very well, if he wins this game, let's say in the future, he could basically be 2nd place right there with Gary. So, and I like that. I like that the Dow, this list he has, I felt that the Dow was a very weak army in the official list, so I do like to see some success happen with the Dow redesign. I've actually done a lot of playtesting with this list, this redesign here, and it's one of the lists that I feel I've spent more time on because I felt it needed more work. So it's nice to see it do well, and I hope that Jesse and Joshua get a chance. Like I said, life happens. But I would love. This looks like a very good matchup, and Jesse and Joshua, please play in the future if you can, and kind of tell us the result here. But I'm really happy to see this Dow Union list do pretty well. I watched some of Joshua's games, and he plays the army very well. I like what he does with this army. And again, this is a bit of a combined arms list. It's got some hand-to-hand in it. Those tribal huntsmen are decent in hand-to-hand. It's got some sniper. It's got a little bit of everything. And Jesse's list as well, I think this is a good list. I mean, he's got chaff. He's got, now he doesn't have a lot of hand-to-hand. That would probably be a bit of a critique on this list. It is just a little pure shooting. But it does have the chaff, and it does have some abilities to shoot things off. I'd like to see how this list does, because he's got the combat walkers are also pretty good in that they can kind of shoot and charge. It's an interesting little list. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, he does have some hand-to-hand. I apologize. I'm not even looking. He's got these combat walkers. I just saw it. I didn't get a chance, because I think Jesse only played like one game. But actually, that's right. This is another combined arms. These combat walkers are just enough hand-to-hand to kind of go in there and do some work. I like them at 345, so some tough, furious, even hitting on 4s, but you're furious as well. So would really love to see this game happen. I like both lists. So either way, though, like I said, if Joshua can pull off this game, and I'm not saying he's going to win, that would be a good game to see. All right, next we have Adrian versus Warboss. Now, Adrian is our other first place. So, like I said, on week 1, he didn't get a chance to play. It was a last-minute thing that happened. So, gave him the temporary loss. He actually got 2 games in on his week 3. So, he was able to pull out wins for both. And let's look at this. So, this is our other first-place winner. And I see this actually as a pretty... Now, this is a hand-to-hand focused Alien Hives list. It does have some caster, though. So, Caster 6 is really good. It's got the Hive Lord. Like, this is sort of the meta Hive Lord build, where you run the Regeneration, Ambush, Caster 3 on there with the Serrated Blades. So, a good list. He's got these Assault Grunts, No Retreat, and then he's got these 4... So, this is a very... I think, so remember, 2 of these scenarios were progressive scoring. So, Scout did a lot better in this tournament than Ambush. And this is where I really wanted to play a 4th game. And in the future, I'd love to do a 4-game. We're trying to work that out. I didn't want to do 4 games because, it's very difficult to get 1 game in a week, 4 weeks straight. So, I wanted to play it safe. But I think that in the 4th game, we have a non-progressive score. The problem is that this... I didn't want to do scenario 3. I think the 3rd scenario in the book was a little too wonky for me. And we actually played that scenario in my game against Solomon's Blight Disciples. And it was wonky. But anyway, I look at Adrian's list, and one of the things that he has in this list... He's got a lot of Scout. Scout did very well this tournament. He's got the Ravenous Beast, the Soul Snatchers. He's got just tons of Scout. And so that right there in 2 of his games probably did him very well. He's got the Caster to give maybe some shooting support. But this is a little more hand-to-hand focus, but it's got a little bit of everything. He's got Poison in there. He's got AP4 in there. He's got Rending in there. And that's one thing I like about this list is that he's got what I feel is very good. He's got anti-tank tools with the AP4. And he's got AP4 on these guys. And then he's got anti-regen tools, which I think the other thing. So in any army, I always think you need 2 things. 1, you need a way to deal with armored targets. And 2, you need a way to deal with regen and lightly armored targets. And Adrian has both of those. He's got the Poison and the Rending to deal with lightly armored targets, and he's got the AP4 to deal with heavily armored targets. He's then got a Psycho Rex, which I think is an interesting little tech. The Psycho Rex is actually really good close range shooting with reliable. So actually his shooting isn't bad. Like this is good. Like this is 2 shots that hit on 2s, close range, as well as casting spells. The Psycho Rex probably did improve with regen. So he's got 2 tough 12s. And you can see here why I'm talking about that. You need in this tournament, you need ways to deal with armor. You need AP4, and you need ways to deal with lightning armor targets, which is just generally like rending and poison. So Adrian's list is really good, and he's got the no retreat where he needs it. The Soul Snatchers did him very well. Like I said, this was a little more heavily skewed towards Scout, and I do think one thing this tournament shows is that Scout is better than Ambush. When you play progressive scoring, Ambush is not that good. And if one thing I would say I learned about this tournament, Scout is probably a little better than Ambush. And that's just something to kind of keep in mind. With Warboss's list, so I kind of like said this with Warboss, like I like his list. I feel that the list is actually very good. The list is... He went 1 and 2, and that's not bad. The list is a very high skill cap list. I like it. The one thing I would say about the list is that I feel some of these orc leaders should have been veteran leaders. I feel it's worth the points just to get the quality 3. You know, with Warboss, it is a bit of a role dependent list that you need to hit those 4-ups. Quality checks for morale is like so key. And if you roll them, great. But if you don't roll them, I'd much rather have a 3-up. But the list isn't bad. Like I was watching Warboss. Actually, I watched this game. It was super close. And Warboss could have taken this, but I think the Scout, as I said, Scout probably won Adrian this game. Having just 2 of these scenarios being progressive scorings. Like I said, future tournaments when I run 4 games, it's going to be 2 progressive scorings and then 2 at the end of the game where Scout isn't just as strong. So this game was this tournament was a little more heavily skewed towards Scout, and I think that Adrian's list it's a little bit of a come. It's got chaff, it's got hard hitting stuff, and it's got a little bit of shooting that's I would say pretty effective. So Adrian, very good list. And Warboss, also good list as well. So let's look at match 5, which is Alex and Leonardo. So this is our other Alien Hives player. And Leonardo, I think, got 3rd, if I'm correct. Leonardo got 3rd, right? He did get 3rd. Okay. So that's another thing. This is another Alien Hive list that did very well. I think that 3rd place, 2 and 1's great. The Saurian, Alex, I think he only went 1 and 2. Alex went 1 and 2, I believe. Am I correct on that? He went 1 and 2. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Saurian list is good. I think he faced some bad matchups. And one of the things that I think in Leonardo's list is he actually doesn't have a lot of Scout in this list. He's got the Hive Swarms. Hive Swarms are just money. Like I think that Hive Swarms should just be auto includes. Now, with Leonardo's list, it is a bit of a big guy heavy list. This artillery beast is a big point sink, but it's also a really big beast that's just going to sit there. The Deadly Six is very interesting. The Deadly Six actually probably did pretty well against Alex's list. I need to say, like I said, this Leonardo list, it's a little more. I can see why it did go 2 and 1. It's sort of skewed, right? It's got a lot of big guys in it. So if you go up against the list that has a lot of deadly in it, this list may not do as well. I still 2 and 1 is very respectable, and the skewer cannons were okay. Yeah, he's got some deadly in there. I like the deadly skew towards this. Just with the tongue. I wonder, this thing probably did pretty well. This little tongue here just sniping things. That's cool. Yeah, I can see Leonardo's. It's a little more skewed towards the big. It's similar to Jason's list. So if we open up like Jason's list, again, let's look at like Jason's list. These 2 lists are very similar. Both of them went 2 and 1, but you can see both of them are a little more skewed. And so I think that probably both of these lists faced one matchup in these 3 games that was a bit of a bad matchup and didn't win. And you can kind of see like why these lists are going to win you some games, but they're also going to lose some games when you do go up against an opponent. I felt Alex's list is really good. It's a bit of a all-comers list, so in the sense that it's got a little bit of everything. It It's got some hand-to-hand, it's got shooting, and it's got spells. Probably, to me, has a little too much blast for my taste. And again, you can kind of see the problem with blast. It's the reason that I don't run a lot of blast in my armies, because blast can sort of get easily countered by a list. We saw this happen a couple times in the tournament where people ran a lot of blast, and then they went up against armies like Leonardo's or Jason's, and that blast is just not nearly as good. Because in this list, like, that blast is not doing him much of anything. 2 Hive Swarms. So that's a reason that I would say I don't care for blast as much in tournaments. It's much easier to, if at least in the meta right now. Right now, there is a meta, a big guy meta. There's a big monster meta. And just keeping that in mind, I like Deadly. Deadly is also a little cheaper than Blast because you don't take the... So with it being just a little cheaper, Deadly, I think, it's really... I would say if you're going to pick Deadly or Blast, I'd prefer you bring more Deadly. So I like... I look at Alex's... And I can see how Alex struggled because, like I said, he's got that Blast. But, again, when you face a really skewed list... And I think that Alex may have faced two... If I look at his other matchups... Let me see. I'm going to check Alex's matchups. What did he have in the past? Because he went 1-2. So I'm actually going to check what Alex faced. He faced some Battle Brothers, which I think he won. And he faced... What was his round one? I'm trying to look. Lust Demons. Okay. Well, you know, I think that Alex lost against Thomas Creek's Lust Demons. That's a really difficult list for anyone to beat. And then he won the Marines, and then he lost against the Alien Hive. So, yeah, Alex faced some hard opponents. I mean, like, this probably happens. So, Alex is one of those players who got very unlucky in that he faced 2 third places. Alex faced both Leonardo, and he faced Jason. No, Alex faced Leonardo, and then he faced... who was the other one Alex faced? Thomas. So you can see here, Alex probably got unlucky in that he got some he got some really tough matchups because he faced against a Leonardo got third, and who's the other one? I'm sorry, Thomas got third. So yeah, he faced 2 really tough opponents. So I think that Alex, this list could go 2-1. It's a good list. I just think that he faced some really difficult opponents this tournament. So 1-2 for Alex, I think, is still pretty respectable. All right, match 6 was Diego against Solomon. No, I'm sorry. I look at my round one. Apologize. I'm switching. Okay. Match 6 was Rio versus Ryan. And this was the 2 HTFs. Yeah. And I think that Ryan won this one, right? I'm going to just check on that. I think Ryan won this. I'm just going to check. Ryan won. Okay. So, yeah. And I think the same thing I predicted Ryan was going to win, and it was the planes, right? This one, yeah, the gunships. You know, this is a really good tech. Both of these are redesigns. Both of them are good, but actually I would never bring ships. But actually, I think the fact that these ships have transport, I think this is a really good list for, and I think this is a good tech. And from what I understand, these gunships were sort of the difference maker. So, I like Ryan's list a little better just from the gunship tech. And it's actually interesting. I may actually bring gunships now with HTF. So I think that's a good tech there. But I think this was a really good game. I'd love to have seen this game as well. But Ryan went 2-1, right? Yeah, Ryan went 2-1. That's respectable. Rio went 1-2. Still good. I mean, you know, this was basically an HDF getting 2-1. I think is pretty respectable here. Yeah, that's good. Ryan did really well. Gets a 3rd place right there. Daniel versus Diego. So this is our 2 brothers here, and I know that Daniel won this game, and I think that this is a good matchup for Daniel's list. Diego just didn't have a lot of the AP. He had some AP4, but that was in close combat. And it's a bit slow for Diego. Like his close combat. He's got the destroyers. Never mind.
He's got the energy fist. I just think that I think this is probably Daniel. This is a list that the Daniel wants to go against. This is where those blasters probably did work. And the other thing is that Diego's running a lot of smaller units. So hitting him with like a lot of blasts is actually going to be enough to kill, if not heavily maim, a unit. I need to talk to Daniel and see the details, because this still looks like a really good game. I'm going to talk with Daniel and find out the details of it. Now, we had a really interesting game, and that was, as I predicted, and I actually heard about this game. This was a bloodbath, and we knew this was going to happen. These are two armies that are very similar to each other. You've got Stefano and Stephen Walter. This is basically, these two armies are doing something very similar. They're bringing in some guys with rending, and then they are both of them have this +3 AP on the charge, right? So here, right here. The one thing, and this is the thing, Stefano's list is good, but it didn't want to go up against a list like Steven's, because Steven, like, both of these lists want to get closer to you, and all Stefano did is just basically say, well, we're right next to each other, and just an instant bloodbath. Stefano's list is one of those lists. It's a skewed list. It's going to do really good against some matchups, but it's not going to do as well in others. Because you don't like... That's the one thing I would say about Stefano's list. It doesn't have a lot of shooting in it. I mean, it's got the shotguns, but it's doing one thing, which is it's dropping on you turn one. It does have the shotguns and flamers, which I really like. But this sort of list, I think if he had some long range fire in Stefano's list, he could have maybe set back up a little bit and then maybe shot him. But then again, this was progressive scoring. So maybe this came down to dice rolls. I'd love to see this list. I mean, like, he does. So, okay, Steven does have the ability to cast this, but he can only generally get it off on 2 units, unless he just rolled 2 4-ups. So Stefano probably had the ability... I don't know. I feel like Stefano could have won this game. I mean, because even at AP3 for some of these units, I mean, like, these Dark Brothers are Def 3, and some of them have Shield Wall. So even AP3 is only going to be 5s for them. But yeah, you know, Steven did have this. So this list actually only went 1 and 2. Both of these lists are a little more skewed lists. And like I said, both of these lists, they're going to have really good matchups, but also some really bad matchups, because they have very little shooting. Now, I would say that Steven has chaff. That's the one thing that Stefano... And that's a tough thing with just Battle Brothers in general, not having chaff. Maybe the Pathfinders are broken up into 5-mans to give him a few more activations. Because Steven probably out-activated Stefano, right? He's got these cultists to sort of protect him. And then Stefano's killing the cultist, but then the charge back is just going to hit him. Now, I did make a mistake. I actually forgot to add ambush onto all these Talon Raptors, so that's a mistake on my part. But, yeah, I mean, at the same time, Steven, it's a powerful list, but it's going to have really good and really bad matchups. Still, I think this game was probably really fun to watch. It was just actual murder fest. And, yeah, it's interesting there. So, still... really cool list. And the last one we didn't get a chance to see. So I know that Craig and Taylor both had to drop out of the tournament. Sickness and work happens to us all. But I know that Craig, this Machine Cult play, it was 0-2, and it didn't get a chance to play its 3rd game. I do like the list. I don't know. I just think it had some tough matchups. I'd love to see it go against Taylor's list. I think that Taylor, I think, also went 0-2. Maybe he just had some bad... He went up against Gary, which was really good. Who was Taylor's 2nd round matchup? I want to see. Who did Taylor go up against? Rio? I think he may have felt an alternate. Did he face Rio? Yeah, that would... This was his round 2. And I could see how Rio was giving him a problem. Yeah. That was probably not something. Yeah, it's funny. I like Taylor's list. I think that I don't know. I mean, I still think the list is good. It's a list that I think could win. It's got doesn't have as much scout, right? Not a lot of scout. So maybe that's why. I think scout in this tournament was super valuable. Super valuable. So maybe Taylor didn't. Maybe it's just the fact that we do need to have some scenarios that are not so scout focused. Players that brought a lot of scout did well this tournament. So, but still, I would love to see if maybe Taylor can play Rio in the future. But congratulations to those who played. I think this tournament was a blast, and appreciate everyone who played. And again, congratulations to Solomon and Adrian for first place, Gary for second place, and then Thomas, Jason, Leonardo, and Ryan for third place. Thanks, everyone.